Well, Carl, how are you?
Good to see you, Javier. We're actually in the same place at the same time. Happens once in a while.
Inside a car.
Right, inside the car.
An SUV, what is this? The Land Rover Defender?
Yeah. No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
How could you confuse that?
Here it is, my posting. I'm going to add it to you and I'm going to give it to you. So here's the original.
Yeah.
Land Rover Defender. I've driven the Ford Defender.
Yeah.
The Toyota Defender, which is this one.
Yeah.
The Lexus Defender that I just left at home. The Ineos Defender I haven't driven.
Yeah. Yeah. The Kia Defender.
The Kia Defender and the Hyundai Defender.
Yeah.
So which one do you like the best? The original or the copies?
Oh, I've got so many terrible jokes I could make right now.
No, make
based
one.
Off of
make one.
I think you're going to have to defend your position a little better on this.
Yeah, right?
So
Mr. McGovern did a great job.
So the suggestion is that a lot of these car companies are going for the same rugged off-road look suddenly.
I know.
And they're all copying the original rugged off-road look.
Who started it?
That is an excellent question.
I mean, the Defender, I think.
Well, honestly, you could argue the one who really started it was Willys and Jeep, right?
Well,
I mean,
yes,
they
but back in the day, yeah.
They're all trying to look like, you know, the upright, mean grill, you know, with the obvious grill bars and everything else. But no, the new Land Cruiser, as we're cruising in it here, about to go on our off-road course, we already have done it. We know it's capable. Surprise, surprise. Land Cruiser is as capable off-road as ever, but it's not as premium as it used to be, you know?
And it's not the same that other markets get, because other markets get the diesel, other markets get still, I think, the V8, like in Australia or something.
Right.
So we're gonna have to stop here for a second and get some, well, this is part of the activity.
They're gonna instruct us, even though we already know
how to drive, we did it already before,
okay,
so.
just had to check everything all right?
Yeah, we're in four low. We're putting on the
crawl, the 4 low.
Lock the rear.
You don't need the rear.
Okay,
No.
central.
Yeah, you can do this open center actually.
I'm pretty sure it could.
We were talking about that, like this car is capable and this one is more challenging, but the one over there, I think a Camry can do it.
the playground, the motocross track. Yeah, some of those stuff, but it's fun, right? It's flowy.
Yeah.
Right, and you get to see the power of the engine going up those hills.
Yeah, and when do you get to drive on a motocross course?
Exactly.
So yeah, but to get the rear to lock, you need the center. Okay. So you can lock all that when you get to Sterling up there. But yeah,
okay,
we don't need it here. No problem.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's nice having low range open diff, you know, for towing and maneuvering around.
Right, you can still move the car and pull hard without grinding your wheels around corners.
Right. Have fun.
Thanks.
So that was a very brief explanation of all the systems that are here, and you were saying like makes it really capable of doing pretty much
so
everything.
Obviously you've got a 2-speed transfer case, but you've also got the rear and central locking differentials. You've got this crawl control, which is like low speed off-road cruise control. You pick a speed usually between like 0.2 miles per hour and 1 mile per hour. And anyone who's off-roaded knows the idea is to keep your momentum going. It's easier.
And that's what this does.
Yeah.
It does it for you.
The cruise control essentially keeps the car moving at a low speed so you don't get like stuck on a rock and then you got to start from zero to get over that rock because you are still moving as you approach it. It doesn't have certain things that it used to have, like a 3rd row seat, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot carry as
a lot
many
of people. Yeah, but you can carry more stuff. That's what you want.
It does have more cargo.
Less people, more stuff.
Yeah. And
more beer.
And it feels more industrial inside and out, doesn't it, Javier?
Well, we have to be completely fair. These are pre-production vehicles.
I like to call it the ring test because
so we don't know exactly where we're getting.
We're not sure how good the plastics are.
How are you? We've done it before, so any more instructions?
Did you want us to put a locking diff?
I want you to try it with an open rear diff.
Okay, we'll leave it open.
You already did.
Perfect. Crawl 2 would be perfect. You might, if you start to get an excessive amount of slip, go ahead and lock. Just stop the vehicle, lock it up.
We'll lock it.
You shouldn't.
And that would happen potentially will be over there or
it would
here?
Be on those last 2 moguls as you climb up and out. On the way down, you got gravity momentum moving with you, should be just fine.
So that helps.
Climbing up and out, at least with a center diff, you're getting that power back to front 50-50. The rear diff is just going to give you that extra traction when you have that heavy articulation. Power typically wants to go to the path of least resistance, so the tire that has the least amount of traction, which would be the low side.
Okay.
So you'll feel it. Actually, the trail hunter that came through here before, you can see a little bit of trail disruption there on that low side as it was climbing up. But he left it on crawl 1 and it just dip.
Oh, that's why he was
through.
Yeah.
So if it's starting to spin and you're just not getting forward progress, stop the vehicle, lock the rear diff, off the brake. As that crawl control takes back over, it'll lock, and you'll literally just feel it dig and walk.
So like, for example, like before we did it single person in the car, so now with two, like another 100 and some.
You won't really notice the difference.
Extra weight, no difference.
I mean, if you do, then I'm sorry, then you're there.
hey, it's 100, not 200. I just want you to know.
Fair enough.
It might be 100 and a high number, but it's 100, not 200.
100 plus taxes, maybe.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Crawl 2 seems to be fine. Like I said, it just, you know, kind of keep your tires on those tire tracks. You should be A-okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right, boys.
Thank you. So this will be interesting. We'll see if it does it with an open diff, and if not, you'll get to see us try to.
It has so much technology.
Yeah.
But the cars are so capable to begin with, and they, sadly, the engineers put so much work and so much effort to put everything in it. Most people will never use it.
No, these cars are well beyond the capability that most people will ever use. In a course like this, as we were saying before, you know, the other course we were on, a RAV4 hybrid could have undeniably done it, and probably a Camry, certainly an all-wheel drive Camry could have done it. So
for people who are listening only to the podcast version of this, go to the YouTube channel, Carl.
Yeah, go to my Carl on Cars YouTube channel, and you can see the video that's going along with this
So we'll
audio.
show you how exactly, or what are we exactly doing.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going on the up side. Now we're going up. We've got open diff. We've got some articulation on both sides of the car.
Yeah, and then 3 wheels right now. There you go.
And we're gonna see if it walks it up.
You're patient enough, it will do it.
Wow, and it's doing it. Wow. Even without a locking
with
diff.
Nothing. Yeah. With only the car
it just
doing
walked
it on
itself
its own.
up. It's kind of popping power back and forth as it kind of tests its different traction, but it's still got us. Okay, we're done.
It's
we
amazing.
did it. So once again, super capable off-road vehicle here, more so than most people ever use. This particular one we're in is called the 1958. That means it's got cloth interior. It doesn't have
pretty basic.
Yeah, it doesn't have the cameras that help you see when you're going up a steep
different
hill.
lights too.
Different front lights that look more round and heritage versus new and like narrow and kind of thin like all the new cars have.
LEDs, yeah.
So it's pretty neat that they even make this. The MSRP on this one with its options, and it doesn't actually have any options, so this is the base kind of cost for this one, $55,950. So
as opposed to the real Defender, which will be twice as much.
That's right. If you're going to say that this is a Defender, you know, knockoff, or it's looking a lot like a Defender.
Let's call it the Toyota Defender.
Yeah, the Toyota Defender. This one's a lot less expensive, and some might argue, I wouldn't, but some might argue this would probably have less problems, post-purchase issues and all.
The owners will
the owners will be less likely to visit the dealer for unscheduled service and maintenance.
Even though the real Defender, it's even probably more capable, or at least the same, but I see them in Miami in the parking lot, at the grocery store, at church, at like a kindergarten parking lot. Never ever like this.
You don't see them doing what we're doing right now, tipping sideways on
in Miami. Miami's flat and straight. So anyway, I mean, it's interesting how the whole automotive industry has here today. We were hearing the chief engineer for the Tacoma, one of the chief engineers for the whole Toyota group. And he was saying, like, what it's left in the automotive industry for enthusiasts is sports cars and trucks.
Right.
And he's an example.
He's 100% right. Like I was saying this a couple of years ago, where you watched all the cars disappear from a lot of car companies except the sports cars.
Exactly.
Because they realized, look, people don't buy sedans anymore. I mean, I'm being a little exaggerated.
They have that new Camry here.
There is a new Camry on this event, and there's rental agencies and stuff like that. But generally speaking, a lot of people think, if I'm going to get a practically oriented car, which is what a sedan is, why wouldn't I just get a compact or midsize SUV?
Exactly.
It's even more practical.
Everything.
You know? So what you're left with are people who say, I'm not caring about practicality at all. I want fun. And they're buying a sports car.
And looks.
Or I want maximum capability going off-road and or towing and pulling stuff, and you're buying one of these, or a Tacoma, or maybe the Ford Ranger Raptor and stuff like that. In between, you got a bunch of SUVs that are
really good too.
that are really nice driving, handle pretty well, kind of quick, decent on fuel efficiency, and have a whole lot of practicality. And that's what everyone buys, or they're on one side or the other of that, buying their high-performance sports cars or their high-performance off-road capable, towing capable trucks.
By the way, Corvette just announced today the
The
high
ZL, the
performance.
ZL one.
Yeah, so we'll see what
We'll
that is.
see what that thing's kind of horsepower is going to pull. It's probably
I'm
going
gonna
to
have the
scary.
hybrid system, I bet.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
what I'm hearing is that it's supposed to be, yeah, like it's the Z06 plus the E-Ray.
Exactly,
So it's going to have it all in one package to
Exactly.
try to be fast and traction.
So anyway, back to this. Speaking about power trains, I
Yeah.
think the only thing that people might, at least on paper, will say, okay, what? A 4-cylinder? It's what? 2.4?
2.4 liter turbo hybrid is how this engine's described.
So no V6, no V8,
No V6, no
nothing.
V6. It's a small engine and it's an 8-speed automatic transmission and it's got full-time 4-wheel drive. So you would think, well, what kind of power is this thing making with only 4 cylinders? So horsepower is 326
More than
at
enough.
6,000 RPM. That's not bad. Torque, 465
And that's
pound-feet
because of the
torque
hybrid, right?
at 1,700 RPM, at low RPM. And you can certainly feel it on what we're doing now, which is a more extreme off-road course. But the other course that we were talking about, that was this kind of like
Super easy.
Yeah, it was much easier and higher speed, but it had
It's a
steep
motocross,
hills. It was a
motocross.
motocross motorcycle course, but it had some steep hills. Every time I was at the bottom of one of those hills looking up going, and then I started rolling the throttle, I was happily surprised at how much verve and reaction and authority the thing charged up the hill. The motor that's part of this hybrid drivetrain makes all the difference. And essentially what they're doing, and it's brilliant, and more cars are doing it, is they're using motors from like 0 to like 2 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour, and then they're using the turbo after you're off that low speed. All right, now we're about to hit some serious
Let me change the
rocks.
camera here so we can see what we're doing. Okay.
All right, this is what we're driving over. And again, all open and everything. We've got no aids other than the car's low speed.
And a bad driver.
No, we've got the low range gearing, so we've moved it into the low range of the 2-speed transfer case. But we have not locked any diffs. And we are crawling over this thing with well, no problems. And this is some serious rockage that we're.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, like 99% of the people who buy these cars will probably never
We'll never do what we're
experience
doing with
this.
it right now. But if they did, it would be fine.
They'll be fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just keeping off the big rocks.
Exactly.
That's what we're
Thank
trying. All right, so here we are again. Now,
through water.
Now we got some water. we got the water trap here.
It's like a puddle in LA when it rains.
Yeah,
I think. Not Miami rain.
and this time they actually wanted the water. Remember, we were in what was it? Was it Tucson driving the GX?
Oh yeah.
Lexus GX, and they had water, and they
The
didn't
Lexus,
want it.
the Lexus Defender.
Lexus GX, yeah, the Lexus Defender, and they had more water than they wanted.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem. Enjoy, guys.
Thanks. So
And
yeah,
again, so like water, a little mud here, you will think it will
You
slip
think
a
it
little
would
bit,
slip, but
no.
here we go. No issue without any of the diffs even locked. So again, super capable. Now, the industrial exterior is reflected in the industrial interior. This car, this Land Cruiser now, is just not as quote unquote upscale as it used to be.
Yeah,
And
but for 55,000.
but they dropped the price, and most people, certainly most, you know, the people who would consider themselves diehard, true, you know, OG Land Cruiser fans will love this direction, because this is
Yeah.
closer to what the car was.
And if they want it already made, they have the, oh no, that's on the Tacoma, the Trail Hunter
Right.
edition.
Which you know they're going to come
They're
out
probably
with
gonna
one.
come with that.
There'll be a Trail Hunter edition.
So
They'll
that
probably do
edition
a
is completely factory installed equipment that is like even
Super
more
off-road.
capable.
Yeah.
Like you can really cross the world with that.
Well, and don't forget that they just introduced the 4Runner last night, and they were bragging about the Trail Hunter version of that too.
So pretty interesting strategy from Toyota and all the other manufacturers about how not exactly the same car, but they do make similar vehicles, especially in the SUVs that are like kind of clothing, like
Oh, yeah.
medium, small, large, extra large.
Well, they're using a single platform, this new truck-based,
Yeah.
you know, body-on-frame platform, and they're spinning off Tundras, Tacomas,
Sequoias.
4Runners, Sequoias,
Lexus.
Land Cruisers, all the Lexus equivalents of everything we just said, you know, the GX. So it's interesting, because if you want to be technical, you know, if you want to say, look, all I'm buying is just a different bodied version of all these same cars, that's pretty much what you're doing. The
with
upside is,
amazing technology underneath.
well, see, there's a couple upsides. First of all, the upside is that it's the newest version of this body on frame. They've got the CAD CAM, you know, computer design element, where they've got so much strength in these platforms, and now they've got so much technology in the suspension. Remember, Javier, once upon a time, when you bought a body on frame vehicle, you did it because you so needed the capability.
Yeah, exactly.
You were willing to compromise the ride quality and the refinement. The cars were terrible on
Now
road.
it's everything together.
Now you get it all. Who is not going to drive this car across the country on a highway and not even consider it an issue because it's so refined in spite of the body on frame platform.
So there you have it again, pretty simple, not even a sunroof, doesn't have the cameras.
Cloth interior,
Cloth
no
interior.
cameras. This is basically as inexpensive as it gets, but you get the cool heritage exterior with the round headlights and
And the Defender looks.
once again, to Javier's main point. But yeah, it's a really good car, and I think
I mean, jokes aside, I mean that's the trend. Is like any other industry, like where the trend goes, everybody goes.
yeah.
And it's not bad. I mean, like everybody, each brand has its own and like its own merits and everything. It's just kind of a interesting trend that we're seeing.
Yeah, we're seeing it. It certainly reflects interest in kind of sating this desire to look ultra off-road capable without really compromising the on-road capability at all, which you can make an argument that people like Land Rover have been doing that for decades. That's what they've been doing, making luxury SUVs that are very capable off-road, and nobody ever actually takes off-road.
Exactly,
So-
because they're so beautiful and nobody wants to get it dirty.
I might get dust on it. I'm not taking. What are you thinking about off-road?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, Carl.
This was a
Nice
lot of
driving
fun.
to you. That was cool.
Car very capable.
Thank you. The car made it safely.
We're all
so-
done. Thank you for watching and listening.